Welcome to Politics in View, brought to you by the new National Star TV. I am Christine Telfa, your host, and today with me in the studio is a very distinguished guest. I'll let him introduce himself.
Good afternoon. My name is Humphrey Ejumah. I'm from Kogi State. I worked in the bank for 11 years now. In fact, all my lifetime has been in the banking industry. I had my mandatory national youth service at Wema Bank, after which I proceeded to Zenith. From there, I moved on to Keystone, and from there as well, I continued to Fidelity Bank, which I just left some few days ago. So banking has been part of my life, and also I am a political analyst too. Working in the bank has not been a barrier to politics for me. In fact, I had my degree in political science, so banking was just a profession for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Humphrey, for joining us today on the show. Today we're going to be discussing a very crucial topic: the quest for good governance by Nigerian youths. Mr. Humphrey, what can you say is good governance?
Well, for me as a layman, because I'm a layman, so for me, good governance is when those who are supposed to be our representatives meet our needs. When I elect you to power, you should be able to provide me with the basic amenities like food, shelter, and all the things that are needed for my day-to-day activities. So for me, in simple terms, good governance is when I can access good roads, when I can access good food, a good health system, and what have you. So for me, good governance is when you're elected to power, you should be able to deliver at every point in time.
So, Mr. Humphrey, after 62 years of post-independence, and we've had 23 years of a democratic rule, can Nigerians categorically say that they have had good governance? And under which administration can we say we've had good governance under?
Well, to be honest with you, and let's be real with ourselves, I don't think we can say we've had good governance in Nigeria. But that notwithstanding, the administration of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, for me, has been the best so far, even though he didn't have the opportunity to lead the country. It was a short administration, but I think so many Nigerians still sing that song of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua till today. I wish we can have him back. So for me, his administration has been the best so far.
It was sad that his administration was such short-lived, and we didn't get to see most of the promises that he had for us as a country. What are the elements of good governance?
Yes, like I said earlier, the elements of good governance is if your area is secured, that is good governance. When you have good food, when you have access to good health facilities, when you have access to good roads, when our youths are employed after school. You can see our youths have been at home for over 6 months now due to ASU strike and all that. And it's just a pity that federal government is yet to give them to meet their demands. It's not as if the money is not in the country. We are rich in Nigeria, and there's so much money in Nigeria. Let me use that word. There's so much money in Nigeria, but I don't know why the federal government is dragging a kind of cold feet towards meeting their demands. It's a pity. So for me, when we have the basic amenities of life, that is when we can say that yes, we have good governance, especially in our country, Nigeria.
You are someone who is well vested in the financial part of this country. What can you say has been what can you say is the economic impact on good governance? What's the economic relevance on good governance?
When you have good policies, definitely it will impact positively on good governance. Okay, like recently, some of the policies of the central bank governor, I don't think it has been going well for the common man like you and I. So when you have good policies from the government, from its officials, I think to a large extent it will impact positively on the economy and equally lead to good governance as well.
So presently, let's switch back into our election because we have like our forthcoming elections in 2023. We have 4 political flag bearers of the major parties in Nigeria. Which candidate's ambition for presidency will you say resonates easily with the Nigerian youth? Let's not forget we're discussing the quest for good governance by Nigerian youths. Recently, we have seen, like a surge of activity by the Nigerian youths, and we have these 4 candidates that have been presented to us. So, which of them do you think has, what the youths are looking for?
Well, for me, let me quickly correct the impression. We do not have 4 candidates. We have so many candidates. Just that we have been presented, or we have accepted just 4, and out of the 4, we have accepted, the youth have accepted 1. Let me not begin to call names here, but we can see the handwriting, and we can see what the youth want. It was victory for democracy and victory for the youth to when Mr. President signed into law a not too young to run a bill. So then I had expected that, okay, they will allow more youth to come into politics and change the narrative. Because what we are looking at now is how to change the narrative. If you ask me, the youth, are we still the leaders of tomorrow? Okay, let me put the question to you. Are we still the leaders of tomorrow?
We are.
You think so? Yeah. Like I said earlier, when the Mr. President signed the Not Too Young to Run bill, it was victory for the youth and victory for democracy. On the second thought, the youth, for me, is a 50-50 bargain when we begin to look at being the leaders of tomorrow. Our fathers, the old men in politics, would they allow us to become leaders of tomorrow? So I think it's now time for the youth to come up with ideas, because for me, ideas rule the world. So even though the youth are not so influential, they're not so wealthy, because that is one area our fathers in politics are using to override everything the youth do in politics. So for me, I think it's time for the youth to quickly, and now it has to be now, to be involved largely in politics if we must change the narrative, if we must make Nigeria a better place, if not for us now, for the next generation to come.
So, Mr. Humphrey, what do you think is the role of youth towards the achievement of good governance, leadership, and development in Nigeria?
Yeah, the role as the youth, they have plenty roles to play in ensuring that, yes, good governance thrives in Nigeria. The first for me is for us to get our PVCs hand. Because yes, 2023 is already at the corner, and I so much believe that yes, our votes will count. And I want to encourage the youth that the energy in which they are putting into this campaign right now should be the same energy that they will bring into the election day proper. And with by so doing, I believe that we will achieve the results, we will achieve the goal that we are all clamoring for. And one thing I would like to tell the youth too, I think it's not so right for the youth to indulge in name calling, politics of calumny, and all that. I think the youth should dwell more in promoting the chosen candidates. You understand? Because you don't have to kill somebody to achieve a result. You don't have to drag somebody in the mall to achieve a particular goal. For me, let us dwell more in getting it right this time around. Because if we fail this time, then another 8 years will be terrible in Nigeria.
You're very right. Thank you so much, Mr. Humphrey, for your contributions. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is still Politics in View, and I am Christine Telfa. And with me in the studio is our very distinguished guest, Mr. Humphrey. Mr. Humphrey, for over 12 years, you have lived and worked in the Southeast. How do you place side by side good governance in that region versus the lingering security challenges?
I think yes, I've lived in the Southeast running to 12 years now. From my own judgment, so to say, I think the Southeast is one region that has suffered more in terms of good governance, in terms of dividends of democracy. I don't know if you visited Southeast in the last 6 months or in the last 1 year. The region is bedeviled with a lot of crises, a lot of insecurity. People cannot go to markets. People cannot walk freely on the road. In fact, on Mondays in the Southeast, people can't come out to do their businesses. This is as a result of the bad governance, bad leadership, and all that. So, for me, if we can get it right this time around, I believe that dividends of democracy will be shared equally to every region. No region will be marginalized. And one advice I have for the Easterners is for them to form a kind of synergy with other regions of the country so that they can be with one voice and vote rightly. By so doing, I think the region will excel. If you look at it objectively, the region is one region that holds this country firmly, is one region that boosts the economy of this country. Without the Southeast, I don't think the country will do well. It's my own opinion anyway. But I feel if the federal government can push more resources, if they can uh,
Pay more
pay
attention.
more attention to Southeast, I believe a lot of things will come out there. Okay, look at the innocent of Navy, where they assembly vehicles and all that. I think apart from the Kaduna we used to know, I don't know of any other part of the country right now. Innocent is the only one that is assembling vehicles, and these vehicles are durable, they are good for Nigerian roads. So I expect the federal government to put more resources, push more resources to the southeast. If possible, why not invite Innocent and let's see how we can improve on what we already have on ground. So I think the Southeast has suffered more, and for me, it is time for them to begin to enjoy the governance.
There is this agitation by the youths. We've already seen a lot of activity. We've seen a lot of ginger and gyration from the youths to take over leadership of affairs in this country. Do you think this is possible? And how well do you think they would perform given the opportunity?
Yeah, it is very, very possible. Yeah. When we go down memory lane, we also saw what happened during the NSAS issue and all that. I think that was in October 2020, thereabouts. So I think if the youth can come together with one voice, we are going to achieve a lot. Like I said earlier, ideas rule the world. And for me, the days of our fathers has gone. So we need more youths who will come into politics to bring in ideas on how we can make Nigeria a better place. Okay, look at the brain drain in the country. Our doctors are leaving, our nurses are leaving. If all these people should leave the entire country, I don't know, we may resort to maybe using herbalists and all that, who knows? So I think we need to fix the country, and it has to begin with the youth and maybe end with the youth as well. So I think the government, and thank God, like I said earlier, Mr. President already signed that bill, not too young to run. So I expect our old leaders who keep recycling themselves every 4 years in politics, at least let them invest in the youth. And I believe if they mean well for the country, I believe they should invest in the youth. And with the youth, we can make Nigeria a better place.
So, Mr. Humphrey, thank you so much for joining us. What are
Thank
your
you.
last words for our viewers out there on our hope for good governance?
Okay, my last word, I want to encourage the viewers out there, especially Nigerian youths. We should not give up. We understand. We already have a goal we all want to achieve. We should not give up. Let us all get our PVCs. Let us look towards 2023 and let us make sure that we get it right, vote right, and we only get it right now. Because any mistake we make now, it will be terrible, not just for the youth of today, but for the generation to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Humphrey. Thank you so much for joining us today on the show. And thank you, our viewers, for staying with us today on the show. Today, we have been discussing the quest for good governance by Nigerian youths. Don't forget that the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. To stay updated on all our programs, please subscribe, like, and comment. Also, follow us on social media at The New National Star. I am Christine Telfa. Hope to see you again.